Okay, so I just figured I would show the finished product of my first Cerakoting experiment here. This is a Taurus PT1911. It was originally just black parkerized finish. Nothing really too special about it. And there's a couple pieces here that have not been Cerakoted. The spring, because Cerakote doesn't recommend coating any springs because that can mess up the tension. And it also might not hold up to the heat of the oven cure process, and I don't believe that's the case. I know that this would stand up to the the heat cure process in the oven. I mean, not the air cure process, but it would mess up the reliability of the spring. So I didn't do that. I didn't do the mag release. I popped that out of the gun. I just reinstalled it to put the trigger in there that I did Cerakote. And I also didn't Cerakote the sights or the hammer strut or the bottom part of the hammer. I just taped those off and Cerakoted the hammer itself. And what I did Cerakote was the front part of the barrel bushing, the mainspring housing, the frame, the trigger, the slide stop, and both safeties, because it's a Taurus, so it has an ambidextrous safety, and those were all OD green. I also did the recoil spring assembly, minus the recoil spring, and I did the slide, the grip safety, and the hammer in Savage stainless, and the rest in OD green, just regular OD green, not the Magpul OD green that they offer on Cerakote's website. And I think it turned out really well. There are no splotches in it anywhere. It went on really easy. And once it's baked on, you can put the gun back together and shoot it the same day with no problems. So there's no extra cure time like the air cure stuff that takes 5 days, or Cerakote, which takes weeks to fully cure. So I really like it, and you can automatically just toss on, parts and stuff like that into it, and I haven't because there's a pin that I need to get replaced that hit the ground when I was reassembling it the first time, and now it's just disappeared. So make sure that you have all parts kept in a container, and try and reassemble it over a container or something magnetic so that you can catch all the little parts that might fall out, because the sear pin is what I'm missing. And that's the most important part, because that makes your gun cock and fire. So I'm pretty much waiting on Brownells to ship me a new entire pin set, which I'm not too thrilled about having to spend $15 to get a new pin set, but it does replace a couple springs, like the spring for the mainspring housing, the magazine release, and it replaces all the pins in there too. So I'm happy that it's going to rebuild my 1911 a little bit with let's see here, I think it's Ed Brown custom parts. So whenever you can put on better parts on your gun, that's never really a problem. And there's a little bit of a difference in the finish, because originally I wasn't going to Cerakote the spring assembly or the front barrel bushing, but I had to respray the safeties because there was a little tiny area that I missed right on the bottom of it originally, and that just bothered me to the point where I was like, screw it, I'll just blast it down and recoat it. And I guess I mixed the second batch a little bit differently with a little bit more hardener than the first batch, so it came out kind of a high gloss instead of a matte finish like I was going for on the original time. But still, it came out really well, and no glaring issues besides having to recoat the safeties because I forgot a place on it, and I also had to recoat grip safety and the slide. Had a brain fart there for a second. The grip safety and the slide, because they had a little bit of extra oil that I didn't bake out when I was supposed to on the what's called their gas out stage. It's after degreasing, and before you sandblast, you're supposed to heat all the parts up to 250 to 300 degrees in the oven for about a half hour, and that'll bake out all the oil, all the gunk, all the years of stuff that are coated in somebody's gun, and it just melts all that out of there so it doesn't get on your finish. And I didn't do that, so the slide and the grip safety looked really bad, and they were all covered in gunk and nastiness and all that stuff. So I sandblasted those down, and I redid them, and now they're perfect. There's no weird oily spots on them anywhere, and I'm so satisfied with it, I put the sights back on there and started reassembling it. But then I missed a pin, so now I'm just waiting for a new pin set. But that's my Cerakoting job on this guy, and it's going to look really good once it gets back together, and I'll give you a range report when it starts shooting again. But one thing that I did mask off, other than the hammer strut and the slide stop piece that goes into the gun, is the feed ramp. Other than that, everything got completely disassembled, blasted down, and sprayed just as is with no masking tape on there or anything like that, because it's pretty easy to do. And there's also a video I have on what I did to recoat this, so if you're interested in the process, that's all explained. And with that, I'm just going to sign off. Also, one thing I was kind of worried about when I was Cerakoting this was on a Taurus hammer, you have that stupid safety thing they put in there called the Taurus safety system, and you turn this down with a key. No, you turn it up with a key and you push it down to turn it off, and I had it off the entire time that I was Cerakoting it, but I didn't bother to cover this or anything, and I didn't really want to disassemble the entire hammer to take it out of there, but it does still work. You can still put the key in and turn it, and it'll work just fine. It will stop the hammer from engaging properly, so it's not a disabled safety device or anything like that. It's still on there, it still works, and it's still stupid in my opinion, but I'm not the manufacturer, and Taurus is just covering their ass because of all the Californian legalities and mass holes that are making everything harder for people that just want to have a simple gun with no freaking safety on it. Well, not no safety, just no extra safety crap like this. I'm thinking about just replacing the hammer anyway with like an Ed Brown custom or something like that. But that's about it. Still works.